Out of turn number 11, Gridlife Touring Cup race number 3 from Tiffany Raceway at spring kickoff in 2021. Tom O'Gorman, Ryan Upham sharing that front row. Green flag.
Man, what a field.
Double file, 3 wide, heading off into turn number 1. O'Gorman clears Upham. Emil Tabb tried to sneak down the inside, couldn't find an opening. The hybrid racing EG of Eric Catil slots into third, still double wide behind him, clean through turn 1. All 3 races this weekend, they've done that successfully. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, watching this from an outside perspective, getting through that turn 1 with this many cars is crazy. Crazy to see.
Look at Ryan Upham right behind Tom O'Gorman. Now Tomo's strength is going to be in the corners, but with that rewards weight, that's really going to slow him down. Upham's strength is on the straightaway, so that could be a real challenge for O'Gorman to hang on. Car off the racetrack, that's DJ Alessandrini. Got off over the curbing at the exit of turn 3. He's back on, we continue green. There is Eric Catil in the hybrid racing EG right behind Emil Tabb in the winning Formula Miata. That's a battle for 3rd place. Behind them, double file for about 5th spot, or make that 6th spot rather, as we head into turn 7, carrying lots of speed through here, Justin, and it's real tough to stay side by side.
No, it really is, and I know Eric Catil's coming into this event with some new shocks in the car that knowing from experience, takes some time to get dialed in. So that might be a little bit what's going on with his pace, but doing really well considering the changes that he's made. He's like us and always has to make changes. I mean, that's the name of the game.
It certainly is, and Fortunato coilovers on that car for Eric Catil, working on, I think they're the 520 setup there, and give Fortunato a follow as well. They had their Instagram account go down, and they're trying to work their followers back up. So Fortunato and our buddies, make sure you go give them a follow on Instagram. Now down the back straightaway here into turn 11. Surprised that O'Gorman's been able to hang on for this long. I thought Upham would motor by him on the straight, but he hasn't.
He must have got a pretty good dig out of 10. I know Tomo knows how to hit those apexes, so I mean that really gives you a good drive going down that back straightaway into 11.
We're 3 wide into turn 11, a little bit farther back. Here's some chaos. Lewis Chatroop, Andy Smedgaard in there. Andy won 2 races back at NCM a couple months ago. There's Luke McGrew, followed by Chatroop, Smedgaard, and Alessandrini climbing back upward after that off in turn 3.
Nice tight racing, everybody keeping it clean. It's the type of racing you want to see around here. These guys are really showing the place to be, and this is man, great driving, great groups. Nice tight pack, no incidents. Everyone's staying on track so far. A lot to say for how greasy it is out there, I can only imagine.
It's amazing. There's Jeremy Swenson, the unofficial race 1 winner, obviously got disqualified, but he's fast and he's working by, or trying to work by, DJ Alessandrini. Now DJ has 1 win under his belt at Mid-Ohio last season. Then the rest of the weekend was in the rain. He didn't have rain tires, so didn't finish very well from there on out. Had a transmission failure at Road America, and this is his first weekend back since then. Upham now falling into the clutches of Emil Tabb. That's a bit of a surprise as O'Gorman continues to pull away.
Man, Emil's just been on fire. He is the consistent, always in the front, always keeps his stuff perfect. That car rarely, if ever, has mechanicals, so that's somebody you always got to be watching for.
It's one of the more reliable cars, and in the points, it's paid dividends. He's just so consistent, as you mentioned. And if he's not on the podium, he's pretty close to it.
Yeah,
3rd
absolutely.
or 4th in almost every round he's ever been.
Definitely, yeah. He's always making sure his stuff is perfect, and it shows.
We saw Jeremy Swenson going down the inside of DJ Alessandrini in turn 10B, so we'll see on the back straightaway if Swenson can motor on by. As you see the field panning through, there's Andy Smedgaard closing up the Chatroop, and yes, Swenson did get by Alessandrini. Curious to see if he's moved over to a Hoosier tire, knowing that the street tires would just overheat in a lap and a half, or if he's going to stay on the streets.
From what I've heard, he's staying on the streets, and so far he's proven that he can make up for that early pace to compensate for when the tires get hot and go into defensive mode. That torque of that V8 LS motor that he's running really does help get that drive out of the corner and make up for some of the slower cornering speeds later when those tires get slick.
So out up front, O'Gorman is falling back a little bit towards Ryan Upham. He's closing in once again. Emil Tabb is right there, so is Eric Catil. Keeping an eye on for some of the drivers we thought would be big movers. Brian Heikotter's up 10 spots from 31st to 21st. And Ishram Rakhani making one of his first starts on the weekend. He's moved up 2 spots into 25th. And looking for Tiffany Kelly, who started at the rear of this field. She's also moved up a handful of spots. She's moved up 6 from 45th into 39th. So good climb so far as Tabb all over the back of the 13.
Yeah, I imagine by this point, Tomo's got to be feeling that weight. With the temps out there, every bit of extra weight on those tires is not helpful.
It certainly is not, and it's only going to get worse as the race goes on. So we'll see if he can hang on to it. So far, so good, though, as we watch some good mid-pack battles here. I believe that is...
Looks like Tiffany out there.
It is Tiffany, yes. Yeah. She's got Joel Morrison right behind her in the 9 Lives Racing S2000. And good battles there. 2 very different builds, 2 very different ideas of how to go fast.
So many S2000s out here this weekend. I mean, man, they are a little bit of everything. We got stroked F Series, S2000s, K Series, J Series, you name it, it's out here.
And here's some onboard action here. This is from onboard Eric Cattill's Hybrid Racing EG.
No, this is Tom.
This is Tom O'Gorman.
Yep.
That's correct. My apologies there. I saw the auto assets on the dash, and I knew there was something up with that. But across the line, he's got nothing but clear windshield out the road.
Tomo really showing it. I mean, good for him being able to get a little bit of a lead, knowing that later that rewards weight's going to come back to bite him in temps. So, you know, he just needs to keep pushing, get himself as big of a gap as he can. Eric Cattill really moving up, putting pressure on Emil. He's going to be someone I think that's going to be a contender later in this race or going into the invert for race 4.
Here we go. Now Cattill pulls alongside Emil Tab on the run down to turn number 3. Can he pull that K-Swap Civic alongside the K-Swap Miata? Not quite. Within a foot of the bumper down through turn number 3. No dice though. Look who's coming. Aaron Lichty, the runner-up from the championship last year. The winningest driver in GLTC is lurking in 5th. Never count him out.
No, these guys have battled more than once. This is a pretty formidable group that typically rides close like this. So it'll be interesting to see who's able to come out on top.
And while all this is happening, they're stuck behind the cork in the bottle right now of Ryan Upham. Tomo's driving away. This is great for him.
Yeah.
He gets in the mirror, he's loving this.
It really looks like Upham's having issues with the temps. I mean, like I said, having a heavier car like the BMW, and especially early in the race, driving the car hard really puts temp in those tires, and man, does it come back to bite you later.
Yeah, the problem is it's going to be really hard to pass him when he's so fast on the straightaways, and this is a frustrating moment for the drivers in behind. Upham's doing nothing wrong. He's racing his line,
sure,
not going defensive, but
yeah,
it is going to be frustrating for the drivers behind to not get by. Big dive up the inside. I think that's Lewis Chatroop. I believe it's a silver car. I think that's Luke McGrew back there as well. As we look again down the back straightaway, Emil Tab now moving over to driver's right, showing a little bit of a defensive line to Eric Cattill, pulls back over to the left. You get some slipstream. How effective is that here at Gingerman? Straightaway's not super long, but is it worth having?
You know, I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt. I would say it doesn't play a part like it would at Road America or some of the tracks with longer straightaways, but man, when you got cars out there that are this even, it really makes a big difference just to have that few extra reductions in drag going on the straightaway. You just got to watch your temps. On days like today, you really don't want to get your nose buried behind somebody in 100-degree temps and you know, have an engine issue. So something else to keep in mind.
Great battle back here for 6th place. That was Eric Jensen defending from Andy Smedgaard. Very, very well. Took the outside line through turn 11, then kept the inside through turn number 1. But for 2nd place, it's tightening up. 4-car battle for 2nd, and behind him for 6th, it's also going to tighten up. 3 cars behind Eric Jensen, or make that 2. Jensen, McGrew, and then Andy Smedgaard. So McGrew actually got by Smedgaard because Smedgaard got held up by Jensen. So a bit of an accordion effect here, but Smedgaard's not going to wait in the end.
No, we're going to have some good racing here. Towards the end of the race, all these guys are going to be slipping and sliding all over. We're going to have to see some good racing. Looks like Emil maybe dropping a tire. Tomo just driving away with it.
Yeah, Emil, again, dropping that tire. There's a lot of curbing at the exit of turn number 6, and there's a lot of holes around the curbing around here. If you drop a tire, you can bend and break stuff pretty easily.
Absolutely, and you really, it always catches you off guard just how slick it is on the outside. With these temps, you know, the line you would typically run here doesn't always work.
So keep in mind that, again, we're going to get an invert for race number 4. So the challenge becomes, Tomo's leading this race right now. If he goes on to win, he's going to get buried in the field. So think about the points on the weekend. Tomo's might essentially lock him up with 3 wins, and as well as the other front runners having some penalties earlier in the weekend.
Yeah,
but he's going to have some work to do in race 4.
I don't think anybody can. I mean, if he locks this race in first place, I think he's locked in the weekend. I mean, I don't want to jinx him or anything, knock on wood, but I mean, Tomo doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
No.
It's not his first time in a car, and you know, seeing him out front, I don't expect him to slide off the track or have any major issues. So.
And Tom comes from a professional racing background. He's raced at IMSA and won there, and has won championships in Pirelli World Challenge. Back behind Smedgaard and Jensen side by side at the exit of turn number 1, still battling door-to-door as they head into turn 2. As they work through turn 2, Smedgaard on the outside of Jensen, and slots back in line. Great battle for 6, and now it's a 4-car fight. That's Jeremy Swenson joining the party.
Yeah, that group. That group's been battling the entire time. They really are really even battles with.
Whoa! Bit of a contact there. Smedgaard gets into the back of Eric Jensen. McGrew's
going 3 wide.
3 wide for position for 6th place. That was an amazing move, but Jensen hangs on. Smedgaard gonna have to go the long way around, but McGrew's there now, side by side through 5 and 6. What a battle here.
Swenson just looking for an opportunity, waiting for somebody to make a mistake. He's really doing a great job being patient. No reason to get your nose in there on a 3-card fight when you can just wait.
Yeah, Swenson watching this, smelling blood in the water, that's for sure. Through turn 7, 8, and 9 now.
Looks like Upham is benefiting from the battle going on behind him with Emil and Cattill, and man, he needs to take advantage of all of it because those two cars are going to probably not fall off quite as much as his car with the weight.
Yeah, again, you see Emil Tab falling into the clutches of Eric Catil. I've heard Eric's car, even though it's front-wheel drive, the differential he's got in the way it's tuned, it actually turns better on throttle, which is not a typical front-wheel drive characteristic. So in the corners, Catil's car is actually set up pretty well, even though Emil's car is probably set up better in that regard with the rear-wheel drive platform.
Well, and things to keep in mind, I mean, Catil's got so many laps in the same car. I mean, he knows that car better than anybody, and he can really, it really shows. That guy is so consistent, so consistent.
And Eric Catil now going a bit defensive to keep Aaron Lichty behind. These are the two that over the course of the season are still, I think, the favorites to win the championship. Look at Swenson down the inside of Jensen through turn number 1. And a little bit later on the brakes, perhaps that big heavy Corvette should be getting by in turn 2 or 3, depending on how you cross this over. I'm surprised we haven't seen more leaders start on driver's right, because turn 2 is a right-hander. You might want to do that now and then.
You know, it's tough to say. The problem is being driver's left going into turn 1 here, you can really get a good cut over the rumble strip, and I think you benefit more still by being on the left and getting that jump. You can clear somebody before turn 2.
So out front, it's still O'Gorman, but Upham was a little bit faster, about a 10th quicker last time by. Looking down the field, I think we're going to pop our heads in and see where some of the other drivers are. We'll check in on some of our big movers as we go back to the battle between, I think that's Luke McGrew and Andy Smedgaard, reigniting their battle after they had the run-in with Eric Jensen a couple laps ago. But they've sorted that out. Jensen's dropped back a couple spots. Got a little roughed up, but I think he'll continue and move on.
Most of those guys, I mean, they all are veterans out here, and, you know, they're not trying to have any contact. When you're pushing that hard, you know, it happens.
And I think that's the Blue S2000, was that Andy Smedgaard that dropped off the racetrack?
That looked like that was either Felipe or Jake.
Gotcha.
Coming down, who do we have? Looks like we have a car slow on the left-hand side here. Who?
Oh, that is Taylor Kajewski. That car has all of 89 horsepower, so she's doing the best she can.
Okay, well, that maybe not having an issue, just giving her all she has.
So checking back in on some of our big movers, it looks like Brian Heitkotter has gone up 17 positions into 14th place. Now, let's be real. This is real interesting because with the invert, we could go back as far as 15 to 20. So
right. We have no idea who could end up on the front. It could be anybody's game at this point. You just want to work your hardest to get yourself up in that top 20, top 15. That's going to benefit you the most.
Certainly is. And also checking in on some other drivers. Tiffany Kelly up 15 spots back in 30th place, continuing to climb up. Great run for her so far. Gary Wimble up 5. Max Toyer up 5 in the number 160. Good runs there. Joel Morrison up 22 spots from 44th to 22nd. So lots of drivers taking advantage of the very clean and competitive racing out there right now. We should be expecting a white flag anytime here, Justin. So
12 minutes in. We got the battles have not stopped. I'm surprised that Swenson has not been able to find a hole between these two, but I mean, Luke and Smedgaard have been door to door since lap 1. So, man, they are just cannot find a way by. The cars seem so even.
And Luke McGrew again.
We got somebody way off in the grass over here.
Oh wow, trying to see what car it is.
That's one of the front group there. Unless that was a lap down car.
It might be Will Leahy.
Man, hopefully he comes. Hopefully he watches coming back on track. We've got cars coming by.
There will be a local yellow in that area until he's back on course. That was a topic of discussion earlier in the weekend, but so far so good. 4-way battle for second again. Oh, Tab way out in the dirty stuff. Got the marbles. That's going to open up the door for the hybrid racing EG of Eric Catil. Drag race down the backstretch, and here comes Aaron Lichty into the party for second place. Right, that third place rather.
Yeah, you can definitely see Aaron coming out of turn 10 there. His tires are definitely struggling. I mean, knowing his line, he did not mean to go that wide, but sometimes you just don't have a choice. With these temps out here, you know, you're driving the car the way it wants to be driven. It's not typically driving the way that you want it to drive, but you don't have much of a choice. It's similar to race 4 last year here at Midwest when we all ran on the wrong tire. We all went on rain tires, ended up drying up, and just drove around the track. It's like a slick track out there.
Yeah, white flag is out. Final lap around here at Gingerman Raceway for race number 3. I saw Jensen side by side again through turn number 1. He's had lots of action. Back to third place though. Tab and Catil still battling for position. Aaron Lichty right there behind. This could be a volatile position with Emil Tab all over the place. And look at Smedgaard defending from Jeremy Swenson.
Luke and Smedgaard still side by side. And I know out of that 4 group towards the front, Aaron is the only car in that group that does not have ABS brakes, so that is not going to help him going into turn 11 on the final lap to try to go for that lunge. He's going to be, knowing Aaron, he's going to be extra careful anyway. Aaron doesn't want to put anybody in a compromising position, but the no ABS on this slick track is not going to help.
Jeremy Swenson now pulling even with Luke McGrew. Look at that V8. pulling on the Duratec swapped, basically a Ford Fusion motor in Luke McGrew's Miata. Big slide though for Swenson. Can McGrew pull alongside? Not quite. He'll have to tuck in behind as they head through turn number 7 and 8.
Man, these guys have been switching positions from the beginning. The question is, I don't think anybody's going to be able to catch Smedgar at this point. He's pretty much pulled away. Here's Tomo, just gone.
For Tom O'Gorman, back at NCM a couple months ago, he broke a winless streak in GLTC, and now he will come out of turn number 11. This will be his 4th win in a row, the 3rd this weekend. Tom O'Gorman claims it, 3 for 3 at Gingerman Spring kickoff. Behind him, Upham 2nd, Emil Tab and Eric Catil. They were racing to the line. They will finish as they were, 3rd, 4th, and Lichty 5th. Great battles there, Justin, but Tom O'Gorman again, professional driver from a professional background, but in a professional racing setting, you have a